can go ahead and get started. I just want to welcome everybody this morning. We have a nice crowd here, so thank you for joining us. We are going to get started here. We're going to first discuss the PPPL forgiveness. Then we're going to hop into PPE supplies as people have been looking for those. And any other officials then can give updates, and then we'll open it up for questions and discussion. So as we're hopping into the PPPL forgiveness, first we can introduce Brody Fultz. He is the business banker with Sutton Bank. We have Chip VanDette, the senior vice president and senior lender with Croghan Colonial Bank, and Timothy Enick with lending relations, and he's a specialist with SBA. So right now we just want to acknowledge that there are still some unknowns out there. Things are still changing. We knew there's new legislation out there, but this is where we are right now. So we're going to give updates on that, and we can do another follow-up on this as things do change in the future. We'll allow each to give some important updates and some helpful tips, do's and don'ts related to that, and then we'll open it up for questions. So at this point, I'm going to open it up to Brody, Chip, and Timothy, and they can go ahead and begin.
Great, Amy. Well, thanks. Chip VanDette here with Croghan Colonial Bank. Happy to answer any questions any business owners or community people have. I think I'll just give a quick update as to kind of the guidance that we're giving our PPP borrowers. As mentioned, there are still some things that are unknown or some things that are suggested that may change about how PPP forgiveness applications, should be processed or will be processed going forward. Just a quick update as far as when the forgiveness application process went live. It did go live last Monday, is when the SBA opened up their kind of online platform for banks to apply for forgiveness on behalf of their PPP borrowers. And we've had some borrowers do that. However, I would say most borrowers are still kind of in a wait and see mode, trying to see. There is a lot of talk about a kind of automatic forgiveness for loans less than $150,000. As banks, we're hoping that happens. As I'm sure borrowers are also hoping that happens. I think the difference between the front end PPP application process to get the loan and kind of what's transpired since then, it's gotten a little murky, muddy, and more complex on the back end of the forgiveness side. So we're hoping that between Congress, the SBA, and the Treasury Department, that gets simplified. So that being said, the guidance that we're kind of giving our borrowers is that if your loan is less than $150,000, maybe just sit tight for a little bit and let's see what happens, right? There's a good chance that we think that there will be some sort of streamlined and or automated forgiveness process for loans under $150,000. For our borrowers who are over $150,000, but also have, feel like they're ready to apply, we're certainly talking with them, giving them guidance on what all needs to be done to apply. And if they're ready, then we're moving forward with that. And in several cases, we've processed forgiveness applications. So that's kind of where we're at. I guess the other advice we're giving borrowers is that if you have the ability, even if it takes a little bit longer, since the covered period was extended from 8 to 24 weeks, we're advising our borrowers to try and meet the 100% forgiveness through payroll expenses only, just because those seem to be a little bit more clearly defined in the interim final rule. The non-payroll expenses do still seem to be a little bit murky and undefined, and there's just a lot of ambiguity there. So we're advising that if they have the ability to meet it through payroll expenses only, even if that means they got to wait another couple payroll periods, that's our advice.
I think it's 40 some hours, maybe 42.
All right, this is Brody from Sutton Bank. I can kind of pick up there. It sounds like Sutton Bank and Croghan Colonial Bank are very similar in their approach to this whole process. As Chip mentioned, there is a bill, actually there's two bills floating around in both the Senate and the House of Representatives it'd be a one-page attestation form that the borrower would sign, and it would be an automatic forgiveness. the one in the Senate is tied up in, it's called the HEALS Act, which is the next stimulus package that I'm sure a lot of you have been seeing on the news. That's kind of deadlocked in some debate right now. And the other bill is in the House. It's a bipartisan bill that it carved out the PPP forgiveness of the stimulus package. With that being said, we have advised our borrowers that are under 150,000 to, like Chip said, take a wait and see approach, and maybe in a couple weeks or 3 weeks or so, we can get some more guidance on those. A lot of our borrowers were relieved to hear that because there's a lot of stuff to follow with this that's been ever changing. As far as our loans, 150,000 and above, we have been getting the applications out to our customers, and we've also been getting the documentation requirements out to our customers. There's two different applications at this time, a 3508, a 3508 easy. And the easy form, if you can check off a couple boxes, answer some questions, yes, and you can use that form. It's a lot more streamlined. The documentation requirements were released, and they're a little more expensive than what we thought they were going to be. And I guess that can kind of attest to Chip's point as well, that maybe borrowers need to consider stretching out to that 24-week forgiveness period and using just payroll. On the whole, though, we've been communicating with customers and trying to walk them through the process. We have received forgiveness applications. A lot of them are incomplete by the documentation requirements. If the SBA does decide to pull your forgiveness application for review, you have 5 days to submit everything from the loan application all the way through forgiveness. So at Sutton Bank, we're trying to make sure that if a loan does get pulled for review, that we're ready to send them everything they need. The online forgiveness portal that the banks are using is it's fantastic. It's very intuitive. So I think, knock on wood, hopefully the technical hurdles that we were hitting in the beginning have all but been a thing of the past. So other than that, Chip hit a lot of the highlights. So that's kind of what we're doing here at Sutton Bank.
Timothy, do you have anything to add from the SBA standpoint?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, my name is Tim Ench with the Small Business Administration in Cleveland. You can always reach my phone number would be 216-522-4190. As Bryce and Chip mentioned, the PPP program is a work in process. They make their changes and usually make it on Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And when this happens, I usually like to get emails out to people. But the PPP program is a program to keep people employed. And they do this by making a loan, 100% guaranteed by the SBA, to keep the people employed. And it's also available through online, and you keep people employed for like 8 weeks, and they extend it out to 24 weeks if you choose. If you keep the employees working with the same salaries or make an effort to do that, the loan will be forgiven after the 8 or 24 weeks once you fill out the application. And there's two applications, a 3508 and a 3508 EZ form. And that's the borrower's responsibility to fill that out. And then the lenders will just review that and see if it's right, and they will send it off to the portal. And the portal opened last week. My suggestion to everyone is document everything that you're doing, make copies of everything. Things happen sometimes, things get lost, but just keep copies of everything. And there's talk of the automatic forgiveness, 150,000. I didn't see anything in writing yet. And there's also talk that they may extend the application period or open it up again because they have excess funds. And with the application, 60% of a loan needs to go for payroll costs, 40% overhead. And that could include, like, your overhead could include interest on your mortgage, and other overhead costs. Just document that it is business costs. And that's about it. And if anyone has any questions, you always can email me at timothy.ensch, ENSCH@sba.gov, or give me a call at the office, 216-522-4190. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I keep on forgetting to mute myself. Okay, so at this point, we are going to open it up for questions. I know we have a few business owners on right now. So if you have questions, either unmute yourself or you can type directly into the chat and we can have you speak directly to our presenters. So does anybody have any questions right now? Okay, so just a couple. What is the best way to contact each one of you? I know that Tim just gave his, but Brody and Chip, if, for example, somebody would like to reach out, get a little bit more information on the forgiveness piece, how do they do that?
Sure. Direct phone call or email. So you can call my cell directly, which is 216-952-9996, or my email, which is svandette@croghan.com.
And this is Brody. My contact information, my direct number here at the office, 419-426-6237. And my email is bfultz@suttonbank.com.
Perfect. Okay. Right now, are there any new deadlines coming up? Anything that anybody needs to be aware of as we're looking at the forgiveness piece beginning here?
The only thing I would, kind of give some context around some timeframes that, may not be front of mind for everybody is that this has the potential to be a fairly long and drawn out process. So, for example, PPP borrowers, once their cover period is up, and again, that's either 8 or 24 weeks or somewhere in between there, they actually have up to 10 months to submit their application. So it's not like an immediate, it doesn't have to be an immediate thing, right? They have up to 10 months. And then from there, lenders, banks have up to 60 days to actually process that application. And then after that, after the loan application or the forgiveness application has been submitted, the SBA has up to 90 days to, decision that forgiveness application. So, I don't foresee a whole lot of these going out, into next year, but the potential is there for these to still be sticking around and being dealt with, well into 2021. So just an interesting, comment about some of the timeframes.
Very good.
Yeah, Chip pretty well hit it on the head. The only thing is, and I forget the exact date, but I know that the deadline to apply for a PPP loan has passed. So as of right now, you cannot get a new PPP loan unless the government would decide, like Tim said, to open up the, I guess the period you can apply.
This is Tim Mensch again. If the government does decide to probably come on a Friday, they do have excess funds available. I don't know what they're going to be doing with those excess funds unless extending it out. So, and we're talking billions of dollars. So it is significant. But as the application deadlines draw, I will let everyone know. I usually send out notices on it, so you know officially what's going on. So
Yeah,
We always hear
Tim and,
rumors, but
Tim and the
don't believe
Cleveland
until you
have
see
done a
them
great
writing.
job keeping us informed.
Very good. Okay. Does anybody else have anything they would like to, any last comments, anything else they'd like to mention regarding the program or the forgiveness?
I think the only thing I would add is that, I think most banks are, doing a good job of staying in, regular communication with their borrowers in terms of expectations, updates from the SBA, guidance, what little guidance there is, and what is known and what is unknown. But, business owners and PPP borrowers out there, as you have questions, as you have concerns, I would recommend that you reach out to the banker that you worked with to originate the loan, and don't hesitate to ask questions. I mean, there's a lot unknown, but there's a lot of things that we do know, and every bank has kind of set up their roadmap and their process to work through these, and we're remaining flexible as new guidance comes out, but continual communication, is going to help us get through this.
And could I just mention one last thing? This is Tim Hench again. Through this whole process, documentation is key. Document everything. And we talked about the number of employees, keeping them employed. Well, let's say one person doesn't want to come back, but you make an effort to get him back, but he doesn't want to come back to work. Document your efforts. So when you send the forgiveness application out, it shows that effort on your part. So documentation is key.
Perfect. Okay. If there aren't any other comments on that, then we will go ahead and move on. I just want to thank the three of you very much for being on and presenting the information that you did. All the information that we can gather is very, very important to our small businesses and everyone that is working with these loans at this point. So at this point, we are going to move on to PPE supplies and where to obtain them. So Bryce Riggs, the new Executive Director of the Seneca Regional Chamber of Commerce and Visitor Center, is going to give us an update there.
Morning, everyone. As Amy mentioned, I'm the new Executive Director of the Chamber here in Seneca County. A little more than a month in, so it's been a little exciting, to say the least. I know we've had quite a few calls about PPE and where to acquire them locally. If you go to our website, www.tiffinchamber.com, on the top header, you'll see coronavirus resources. The second one down is called PPE resources for businesses. And that's where we have listed all of the businesses locally. You can get PPE resources. We are consistently and constantly updating this information. We just found out a couple days ago, Smith Frost Foods has hand sanitizers. That's one we had to add to the list. But that's where you can find all the local businesses that currently have PPE and are selling it out. So far, so good. Everyone we've talked to have been able to get in touch with these businesses and get supplies they need so they can keep their employees and their customers happy and safe. So other than that, majority of it, folks are calling us, but we're sending them to the website to get their information.
Very good. We were very fortunate to have received 110 PPE kits from Jobs Ohio. We just put the word out there that we had those available, and actually within just a couple days they were completely gone. So we appreciated Jobs Ohio doing that, and yeah, that's been a real asset to the community as well. So does anybody have any questions on PPE? All right. So moving on. The health department was not able to join us today, unfortunately. So if there are any health department related questions, you can either reach out to the health department directly, or if you want to contact us, we can make that initial contact for you. Lou Cook is on from the Lieutenant Governor's office. Lou, do you have an update for us? Lou, are you on? I can see your screen.
You talking to me, Audrey?
Yep, yep.
I'm
it's
cutting
safe.
in and out on my audio. I thought I turned my screen off. I'm probably messing you up. You want me to go ahead and update?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right, thanks. Good morning, everyone. And I just want to say, can we say football this morning? So I'm sure many of you heard the announcement, waiting for the announcement, as we certainly all were waiting on that. Just wanted to, I have a couple updates. I won't take a really long time, but we're continuing to look at Broadband Ohio, both short and long terms. We found out a lot once there was a huge light that shined on that situation once we went to homeschooling situation. So there was an RFI, RFI that went out for the K-12 grant. And they're working on that now. And I believe that is due soon, sometime within the month of August. And so that's coming out. So if anybody has any broadband information or anything you want to share with that team, please send it to me. We've been collecting that information around the counties. And we were at Riverbend Park here in Findlay last night, and you can make phone calls out there, but you can't pull up any website. There's no connectivity out there. Also, the IMAP, which is part of Tech Cred, which is part of that House bill, and it was for underemployed and economic disadvantaged people that will be able to apply themselves. So they are still looking at the providers for that. The time period to apply has closed, and we'll be getting more information on that. Also, the Tech Cred round is open. Just want to remind everybody, it's not just manufacturing, it's for everyone, including nonprofits, churches, etc. So again, if anybody has any problems with that or has any questions, it's techcred.ohio.gov. Probably many of you are familiar with it. Please take a look at that. And the really cool thing about that is they have now started to connect the providers for each of those credentials. So there's over 800 credentials now on that website. So if you go in and look at a certain training topic or class certificate, you can go and look at the providers and see what schools and training providers are that you can take that training from. So that'll be really helpful in both online and in person. So that's really all I have. Our next update will be at 2 on Thursday. So thanks. Good to be with everyone.
Thank you, Lou. All right, Sarah, do you have an update for us?
Things are fluctuating. I'm moving along. We're trying to keep things business as usual as possible. I'm sure like everyone else. Just a couple of things. We are still trying to run programming here at the Fostoria Learning Center to meet the needs of the businesses. We have wrapped a couple of QuickBooks classes. We continue to offer those. So if anyone on the line or you know of anyone that's interested, with that does come some basic business accounting. So reach out to us and we'll set those up for you. Of course, our class numbers are small and they are socially distanced. We also have a course coming up in September that is for small businesses, particularly in the development of handbook and policies, which I'm sure is a lot of handbooks and employee policies need updated currently in light of the situation. So we have some attorneys from Easton Smith coming to provide that as well. So that's a 3-session course in September. So if you're interested, you can reach out to me. You can find that on the FostoriaChamber.com page or Fostoria Learning Center page as well. Other than that, we are answering a lot of questions about PPP forgiveness. So thank you for all the bank representation and the SBA this morning.
Okay, good. All right, David Zack, do you have any updates for us this morning?
Well, a lot of great things going on in the economy, but we're always focusing on how we can help businesses. So if there are businesses that are looking for ways to creatively work with their workforce as they're kind of struggling, there are things with Carol Kern, who's part of our team, who can assist. And I know she's here on the line too, so feel free to message her on any programs she has. But yeah, we continue to work and be aware of what's going on in the CARES funding and potentially next stimulus program, and just here to help. So please feel free to reach out. If you're looking on trying to find workers, Carol can help you do that. So that's all I have for today.
On that note, Carol, do you have any specific updates that you'd like to provide this morning?
Just backing up what Lou said with regard to tech cred, that the application process is open until August 31st. And also, incumbent worker training is available through Hyman's Job-Seneca County office, and that can be used tech cred. So if anyone has any questions, please contact me.
Perfect. Thanks, Carol. I noticed the mayor is on. Mayor Montz, do you have any updates for us this morning?
Just things continue to be very busy with the city. We're completing all of our summer projects. Everybody's probably excited to see Ellis Street back open. All of us, I'm sure, at some point have made the mistake of trying to drive Ellis Street, and you find out how quickly it takes to get all the way around the other side of town when you make that mistake. So I'm glad to see that bridge completed. Most of our summer work is done. We'll be finished with street paving in the city in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We are starting one fall project, which is the rebuild of Jefferson Street between Market and Perry Street near the library. Because of that, farmers markets are moved back to downtown Tiffin. That streetscape project will be completed late this fall. So everything will look nice and beautiful next summer once hopefully the East Green splash pad, farmers markets, everything back to normal. And then we're just continuing to keep tabs on the city's end of where we are financially. The report this morning shows us down just a hair under $500,000 since the shutdown April 1st as far as revenue, which is the equivalent of about 10.5% reduction in revenue since April 1st. The nice part was we did have record income tax collections for the months of January, February, and March. So for the first quarter, it was wonderful, illustrious, great. The second quarter was like getting punched in the gut about 20 times over. So overall, we are still down financially with the city about $200,000 year to date, which is about 2.5%. So hopefully we all keep working, and let's more shutdowns. We actually sent a ordinance to the governor saying, please do everything you can, but no more shutdowns because we cannot afford it here locally. So that's what we've got going.
Thank you, Aaron. Are there any other officials on the call? I'm looking, I don't see any, but I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting somebody. Anybody else that would like to have give an update this morning? Okay. Yeah, I think
this is Lou again. I have a question. Anybody over there? Well, will your football games be Facebook Live or any video feeds from them that maybe some of the downtown places could show them, like in their restaurants or bars or anything?
So Lou, I do know that Tiffin-Seneca, their athletic director, Dan Hartzell, they are looking to invest in some equipment to be able to stream it. Being able to do it for businesses. I don't know that yet. So
okay. I
can tell you though that I officially became a member of the Tiffin City Schools chain gang as of yesterday, so I can watch the games. So nobody needs to hurt their friends. So all good though.
Of course, and to keep up your physique, right?
Exactly. I'm glad you noticed that.
Well, I hope they do that, because I think that would be a big boom for, the downtown to be able to, businesses to be able to do that.
That is a great idea. If that technology is going to get up and running, we will be looking into that. Thank you, Lou.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Zach, maybe there's some help there with some grants.
Sounds good.
Okay. At this point, I know there's a handful of businesses on the call. I'm just gonna throw out a couple things. You know, we're looking for how you all are doing at this point, any challenges you're facing, any questions you may have, or any feedback that you'd like to provide. Feel free, this is open forum time, so go ahead and let us know how you're doing and anything that you need. If you are having difficulty unmuting, just say so in the chat and I can unmute you.
So I'll talk for a moment. So I own the yoga studio there by Napoli's, and basically, so my business is hurting for the fact that I lost probably 40% of my business with the assisted living facilities that I taught at, like Elmwood and Fostoria, Good Shepherd, St. Francis. So that I don't see that coming back for a long time. Even once the virus is taken care of, I think they're going to delay before they bring me back. And who knows if they, you know, outside activities will ever be allowed to come back in. And then, of course, with the 6 foot, you know, that puts a big hit on how many I could have at my studio. So 11 is all I can have with mat classes and chair classes. I can have 12. So that's going to be a big hit once people are ready to come back. And at this point, they're not ready to come back. My chair class, which is mostly seniors, they have no problem coming in, and they don't even want to wear masks, and they're the most susceptible, and they don't really care. But I teach at Allen Ivory, and I'm getting 10 per class there, and at my studio, I'm getting 10 per class. Now my other classes, I'm getting between 0 and 4 showing up. And so not sure how long I'll maintain that before, you know, I'm going to eventually have to close the doors. I offer it online also, and that's not really working well either. People tell me that, yeah, I just can't do it at home. I'm not disciplined. I need to come in. But of course, they're not coming in. I teach one class. I got 2 more weeks at the East Green. I get between like 40 and 70 people showing up. So they know, because I tell them about my classes online. So they know about it. They're just not acting on it. So we'll, you know, we're going to work on Suzanne Reinhardt. Her daughter does marketing. So we're going to start working on that. Pretty much I never had to market. It just kind of happened. But now I'm going to have to get a little bit more active in that. And if anybody has any ideas, I'm open, because right now I don't see a lengthy future. I'm going to give it till December, and then might have to close the walk-in. I'll keep the online because that doesn't cost me anything unless I record, or if somebody signs up, then they take 10%. But other than that, I'll keep the online because I'll keep teaching yoga. So.
With some nursing homes, have you talked to like the activities director and talked about maybe if they could find a room and you would be on a screen and it would be virtual? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, that could be, but they're, you know, they have their own activities people. So I haven't gone to them yet with this. I switched over to a new software. I used Zoom for a few months, and then in July I switched over to a new software, and that actually will allow me to put things together for like you know, assisted living. So that's all going to get looked at. I just put a series, 5-class series together for new beginners. They can buy that and start there, and then move into a level 1. So yeah, that's being looked at too. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if you need help making connections with the activities director, like at Good Shepherd, let me know. Those are all people I know and have relationships with. I'd be happy to help.
Very good. Thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
This is Diane, the director at the Allen Ivory Center. And first of all, I want to tell you, Chuck does a great job at yoga. People love him. But on the other hand, the Allen Ivory Center, since we are a social organization for seniors, we are not able to open up because of the orders from the governor. In the meantime, we're hurting. Just like everybody else is, but please keep us in mind. We would appreciate it.
Thank you, Diane. We appreciate you getting on and talking to us. Are there any other businesses? I know there's a couple more on. Are there any others that would like to just let us know how they're doing and any challenges they're facing at this point? Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for being on this morning. A lot of great information. We appreciate our presenters as well. Our next meeting will take place on September 16th at 8 a.m. So thank you all for being here, and please feel free to reach out to us or the chamber or anyone if you are struggling with anything or would like some assistance. You can reach us. Mine is Reinhardt, R-E-I-N-H-A-R-T at Tiffin-Seneca.org. Feel free to reach out with any questions, concerns. We'll make sure we get you to the right people. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.